Masquerade, masquerade, grab your mask and don't be late to my review of Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1. Hey, what's going on, my fellow monks? Welcome back to another video with the Monkey Sensing Sensei, and today I have another installment of my series, Perfect Zens. And if you could already tell by that wacky intro, I will of course be talking about one of my favorite records from the 80s, and a cornerstone album in power metal, German power metal, and metal in general. And then, of course, the epic, the classic Keeper of the Seven Keys, Part 1, by the amazing Helloween. Featuring Michael Kiske on vocals, Kai Hansen and Michael Weikath on guitar, Marcus Grobkopf on bass, and Hugo Switchenberg on drums. That would complete the lineup for the Keeper's albums. Now, this record is just amazing. It is a crazy, classic, great album from front to back. But before we talk about the record, I of course have to show off the vinyl. This version is the 2015 reissue that was done by BMG. Now hold up, rewind it back a little bit. I know I said earlier in my Iron Maiden reviews that BMG were not really good when it came to the Iron Maiden pressings. But I gotta give them a little bit of credit. When it comes to these Helloween pressings, they're great. Right off the bat, these pressings blast through the speakers. And of course, talking about metal, it has to blast through the speakers. Now, going into the vinyl, of course, you have this amazing cover. I love this artwork. This is before everything was computer generated, so it's all hand drawn. I love this little awkward photo of them crowding around this pumpkin. Classic. Of course, you got the track listing here, side 1, side 2, all the different tracks. And I love how the key for side key, and then side 2 is side 2 keys. Nice little touch. And I love the design of the Keeper in his hoodie, which actually evidently enough kind of looks like mine. Has the same color. I didn't even do that on purpose, but I thought it was a nice touch looking back in hindsight. I love the stars, and the orb is just so epic. Like, you could tell this album has an epic story awaiting for you without even hearing a single note. This album initially dropped in 1987, but the remastering was actually done in London in 2015. And then, of course, when these albums came out on vinyl, and it is 180 gram. Just look at the amazing gatefold, too. The thing I love about these records, they come with excellent gatefolds. You have the track listing here. Oh. There you go. And hold it more like a book. Yeah, here we go. You got the track listings here, the lyrics. I love all these different illustrations from the late 80s. It just adds a really cool personal touch. It's very unique. And you guys can't even see me right now, but man, I am just smiling just looking at this through the camera. It's just great stuff. Has all the different credits, and it kind of tells the story in and of itself if you look closely. Like, I like the drunk pumpkin who blows up. That's great. And then the pumpkin comes to life while the guy's shoveling the pumpkin patch. And then you got this one kid who's singing along to the track Helloween, which we'll get to later. And he eventually turned into a pumpkin. And then down here you see him actually taking his he takes his old head off and goes to a pumpkin head, almost like a light bulb. And he's got another crazy metalhead guy here going to a Helloween gig. This guy's going to a Helloween gig. You got a pumpkin, might be the artist who drew all these illustrations. Just like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm not doing any more illustrations. And yeah, an old pumpkin. All good stuff. And if you guys can see, it's hard to tell here on camera, but look at all these awesome illustrations. I really like, let me see here, Ingo Switchenberg, whatever his name is. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. But I love how he's looking like, he's looking like Raphael with his drumsticks. That's great. Michael Kiske's looking cool. Let's see. Kai Hansen. Love his guitar work. Kai Hansen's great. He's looking badass. Marcus Grobkopf on bass. I can't remember these guys' names very well because they're all German and it's hard to pronounce. For some of them, besides Michael Kiske, he's pretty easy to pronounce. But all the other ones, man. Then Michael Weikath. Again, his guitar work. Him and Kai. I'm going to do the double horns here. Look, these two guys really add to the sound of Helloween with Michael. And then you have the rhythm section and the percussion really holding it down. But the bass work and the drumming is just fantastic. And the record itself comes in these polylined inner sleeves, which are actually pretty good. Most of the time, records don't come with these. They'll come with just a generic white sleeve with no polyline at all. So revealing the record, it is a nice 180 grams, like I said earlier. Nice and thick, very flat, really plain center labels. Of course, upside down again. That's weird how they do that. First side 1, and then side 2. I'm surprised they didn't have the 2 keys to represent like they did it on the album cover, but that's a little nitpick. But nice piece of vinyl. Sounds excellent on the turntable. I am very impressed with this pressing. I have another Helloween album too that I want to talk about in a separate video that I really love as well. And that one I'm still waiting to have a chance to listen to. But so far, I love how these Helloween reissues sound. But getting into the track listing, as I was stating earlier, this album is a perfect Zen. From front to back, there is not a wasted note, not a bad song, not a wasted melody. Everything just clicks. And I think starting with Initiation was perfect. It really builds and builds until you get to that opening riff of I'm Alive, and the heavy drums kick in and the bass. And I'm Alive just slaps you in the face right from the beginning. And right from the get-go, Michael Kiske is roaring on the vocals. He is showing a huge improvement over Kai Hansen's vocals. And if most people know, Kai Hansen was the lead vocalist on the first EP and on Walls of Jericho, their first album all the way back in 1985. But as their sound was starting to progress and they wanted to be a little more progressive and get more complicated with their song structures and melodies, if Kai Hansen found it hard to play guitar while also focusing on singing duties. So all the way back in about 86 or so, right beginning 87, they ended up getting Michael Kiske on vocals, who initially didn't want to join the band after hearing Walls of Jericho. He wasn't interested in the speedy, more thrashy stylings of the first EP and Walls of Jericho. But after hearing what the band was demoing, he decided to join on anyway, and that's how this classic album was born. But I'm Alive is just really speedy, fast, power metal mission statement that kicks off the record in excellent fashion. I love the lyrics. I love the guitar work. That guitar breakdown in the middle is one of the best on this record. It's just a killer track. And I think one of the best things about this song is that it's speedy, so it's a little familiar to people who love Walls of Jericho, but also has more of the neoclassical guitar work that was featured on that record, but it's a little more on the polished side. It's not as rough around the edges as that record. So it's a little bit of a nice bridge going into the new sound that these guys are going into. And I love, again, Michael Kiske's vocals are great. I love the drumming, the little bass runs that are spread throughout this song, and many tracks on the record. And I think it's a great opening to really show as a mission statement as what Helloween are doing on this album and Keepers Part 2. And that goes right into A Little Time. This one is more of a mid-tempo cruncher. It just has this excellent riff. I love the lyrics and how he's singing the lyrics. Like, he's very operatic in this song. And what's great is this middle section. The middle section, it just starts to break down. You get a little bit of drumming. You get little sprinklings of guitar work. But it's mostly, you hear alarm clocks and different clocks. You hear tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. And at the end of that, you hear ding-ding-ding-ding. And it goes right back to A Little Time. And it just goes right back into that heavy kick-ass metal section. And it takes you right in Twilight of the Gods. They do not waste any time getting back to the faster songs. This Twilight of the Gods has this amazing, again, speedy riff, but the guitar work is going in a more neoclassical direction. And I love the lyrics about people basically throwing away their old gods because they were sick of being controlled, and then they create new gods. And also what's great, too, is that this is kind of separated into two little mini parts. You have the first year, which is actually spoken out in the beginning, and then you have the next year, which is spoken out towards the end. And at the end part, the gods actually turn on the humans and start killing everybody. So it's like plot twist. And then we get to the ballad of this album, the very last track on side 1, A Tale That Wasn't Right. And boy, this is an amazing ballad. Woo, this is amazing. This really shows Kiske's more softer side when it comes to his approach to vocals. He's not just this really high-pitched shrieker. He can sing with more of a baritone and more of a deeper tone than people realized at the time. But this song, man, I love the lyrics. I think this song's mostly about a relationship and just about a guy he's trying to be strong, but there's a certain situation where he can't be strong. He's trying to be bold, but he just can't help but crying. It's a very emotional track. And I love the kind of bluesy guitar work that the song has. And again, the solos really are on fire here. And I love the very sparse drum work. It builds and builds and builds. And of course, towards the end in the chorus, Michael delivers these excellent high-pitched vocals that he's known for throughout this whole record. And I think it's funny, in recent times, this song has kind of gotten slagged on. It's like, oh, it's just the eponymous ballad that has to be put on the record. But no, I think this song is really planned out, and I think it fits really well on the record, especially closing off side 1. And flipping the record over, we get to side 2 keys, with the amazing track Future World. And one thing to note is that this album has a lot of happier tracks on it. When it comes to metal in the late 80s, a lot of it was like dark and depressing and like, oh. But Helloween tended to add a little bit more of happy-go-lucky, a little bit of humor to their sound that they would hone a little bit more on the second Keepers record. But Future World, to me, is the most happiest song on here. It's like, come with me to Future World. It's great. We say the word tomorrow without fear. It's just this really happy song. Love the guitar work. The bass runs on this. Mwah. Someone who loves the bass, is just you can hear it sprinkled throughout. It's not all over the place throughout the mix, not totally front in the mix, but when you hear it, oh, it's just amazing. I love it. And this is more of a mid-tempo pace track, but I think overall it's one of the best on the record, and it's a great way to open up the second side, because after that, we get the main event. This song is what everyone comes to see when they listen to this record. Everything is a combination of this song, and I'm of course talking about the classic 13 minutes and 18 seconds of epicness that is Helloween. And man, this song is freaking amazing. Reprise the intro, the masquerade, grab your mask and don't be late. It starts off so great. But before we even get to that, I love the opening the little ominous bit. But then it goes into that riff, the dun 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 dun. It's just such a catchy and heavy riff. And by that point, you know what you're in for. And this song is almost like a story track to me. The way I see it is like you start off in a house. The way I envision this song, you start off in a house. There's maybe two brothers, a sister and a brother, however you want to configure it. But there's the older brother or sister telling the younger brother and sister, look, grab your mask, don't be late, we're going to go trick-or-treating. So this song to me is almost like, hey, we're going trick-or-treating, let's not be late. And this whole song takes the kids on a journey of going trick-or-treating and all the characters they meet along the way. Now, this song is 13 minutes, but it doesn't hold back the speed. There's a lot of speedy parts. Most of the beginning has this really urgent, speedy, very powerful melody to it, which alludes to what I was saying earlier about the trick-or-treating. It's like the kids are running to every house. They want to get as much candy as possible. They just want to have a great time in their costumes. And I love the lyrics, too, in between the chorus. But watch out. Beware. Listen. Take care. It's like there's a voice telling the kids to be careful as they're going around trick-or-treating. And in the chorus, in the streets of Halloween, or on Halloween, there's something going on. No way to escape the power unknown. And of course, I'm reading the Gatefold here. In the streets of Halloween, make your choice. It's hell or paradise. I can't do the high pitch. It's Halloween. It's Halloween tonight. And it goes back into that sick riff. You get some more guitar work. And then you get the next verse. And then you get, but watch out, beware, listen, take care again. And then you get to the chorus again. And then you get to the spoken word part, a little bit more soft. Listen, we are calling you. It's like the more high-pitched vocals that come in, very ominous. And there's magic in the air. And then, bam, you get a killer solo from Kai Hansen. Great stuff. And at this point, we're not even halfway through the track yet. You start getting more of the instrumentation. I love the part where it's like magic in the air on Halloween. And you get another verse. And you get another solo. This one, it gets traded off between Kai Hansen and Mike. Kai and Mike. And then you get another verse. Darkness, where am I now? Is there anybody out there? It's more softly spoken. You get another one. It's shining. It's shining so bright. It's shining on me. And then a few solos from Kai, Mike. Rhythm, there's a rhythm change. Mike Kai. And of course, through this song too, there's this excellent bass runs going on. I have to give credit to Marcus Brobkov, I think I might be saying that right. His bass work on here, again, it's so sparse. You hear it a little bit, but when you hear it, especially on this track, it's so beautiful. I just love it. The dum bum 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 bum. It's like you could tell, like the bass is running. To me, the bass work is almost like the kids' feet running to each house. It's like, you know, little feet running. At least that's what I picture it as. And after that, we get into more spoken word, more soft singing. I love the vocals by Mike on this. This is just excellent stuff. I'll show you passion and glory. He is the snake. I'll give you power and abundance. He's the corrupter of man. It's like this. At this point, the kids are like in some kooky Halloween world that they don't know how to escape from. And then you get another verse, and you get another harmony. They call it a harmony solo from Kai and Michael. Again, great stuff. Some great neoclassical sounding guitar work. And that's the thing about Helloween that was different, that they were different than other German power metal bands of the time, is that these guys, they had a little bit of humor to them, so that helped. But also that their guitar work was excellent, and it was more on the neoclassical side. It was like, you know, like Bach or, you know, something like that, but just done in guitar tones and guitar solos, and it just works so well for this kind of record with such a powerful and just epic feel to it, and multiple stories across multiple songs. One more time we get, but watch out, beware, listen, take care. And then the chorus comes back again, and then you get some more great guitar works. You get a solo here, and at the very end you get, yeah, it's Halloween tonight. And at the very end of the song, right before the track ends, you get that amazing, powerful riff that you saw in the beginning, the dun 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 dun. It just ends right there. Bam. Perfect ending in my opinion. The only nitpick of this song that I have, as epic as it is, I wish that riff would have went on for another couple seconds, because as soon as you start getting to that riff again, the song just ends. Well, that song is technically the ending of a great and classic album. You can't forget about Follow the Sign. It's only about a minute long, has some nice guitar work sprinkled in there with Michael Kiske whispering, "Follow the sign." Now that you made your choice, follow the sign. Did you make your choice? You're the keeper of the 7 keys. Your only hopes, your victory. So follow the sign. And the album just kind of ends on a sprinkle, as I'll call it. But man, what a great way to end this record out. In between the epic guitar work and the bass and the drums, just overall package. This album is just so great because of the band coming together. And going from Helloween to Follow the Sign is just an epic way to close out this classic of an album. And this album actually started the genre of power metal, and it was brand new. And dare I say that Helloween were the godfathers of power metal and speed metal. Because of the band coming together, writing amazing tunes, awesome hooks, great melodies, everything is being played fantastic. A lot of the songs have excellent stories to them. You have Taylor Wasn't Right, that's an excellent ballad. And for all those reasons, this album is a perfect Zen in my book. But I want to know what you guys think. Have you heard of Helloween? Have you listened to German power metal or metal in general? I would definitely recommend this record as your first Helloween listen, because this album is pretty much where it all began for the band. You could say Wall the Jericho was the beginning and the EP before that, but to me, the Helloween sound was born from this album and Keepers Part 2. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see me review Keeper of the 7 Keys Part 2, because I love that one as well. And that one is another classic record from these guys, following the heels of this record. Just coming out 1 year later in 1988. But with all that being said, guys, I hope everyone enjoyed my review, me gushing over this perfect record. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification down below so you can get notified when I upload new videos to the channel. And remember, listen to Rush, and make sure to keep meditating with vinyl.